Weather warnings in force. Thundery showers with some brightness for central southern England. It's looking pretty miserable, I'm afraid. Lots of low cloud and feeling cold towards eastern facing coast with now an easterly breeze. Best of the sunshine on Friday. Western Scotland, eastern areas of Northern Ireland, and it's chillier across the board. Temperatures will be a lot lower than today. And we keep that cooler theme as the weekend wears on too. It will be drier on Sunday with high pressure eventually building in, but look, we've still got that trailing weather front with us on Saturday, giving us more outbreaks of rain across Northern Ireland, Western Wales and the southwest of England. We've still got that feed of cold air coming in from the North Sea, so again it's really rather cloudy and there'll be some outbreaks of drizzle here. Temperatures peaking only between 8 and 12 degrees Celsius, but Sunday a much more cheery looking day for the second day of April. There's always going to be quite a bit of cloud, I think, for northern and western areas, so Scotland and Northern Ireland, but elsewhere there'll be some sunshine. Temperatures though nothing special, highs of 10 to 12 degrees, Clive.
Okay, a little better for butterflies hopefully. Okay, Elizabeth, thank you. Elizabeth Rizzini there. That's it. So goodbye from me. Now on BBC One, let's join our news teams where you are. Have a very good afternoon.
Hello and welcome to Thursday's Look North. In the headlines, fears over NHS dental services. One leading dentist here says it's become unsustainable. And the Ukrainian band Love and Joy playing venues in the northeast to raise awareness of the war in their homeland. Good afternoon. A sinking ship. That's how one senior dentist in our region has described NHS dental care, with a shortage of dentists making services unsustainable. It comes as Bupa Dental Care announced the closure of 85 practices, including several across the northeast and Cumbria, due to staff shortages. Megan Patterson reports from Gateshead.
Another morning, another conveyor belt of patients at the in-dental surgery. A regular here for years, Carol feels strangely lucky to be in the chair today.
It makes a big difference because you get used to coming to the same place. And I mean, they're lovely in here, they make you feel at ease, and because that can be a bit of a scaredy cat sometimes.
But for new NHS patients here like elsewhere, the waiting list is long.
Unfortunately not.
And unavoidable.
To join the practice for normal checkups, it would be 12 months.
We're a very high needs practice here, so that means like a lot of people need a lot of treatment, and it's just constant. As if you have a space, if someone cancels, there's always something that gets booked in. It's very stressful at the moment. We're having to hit targets at the end of March, and because it's so target driven, it's a very stressful environment to be in. Long term, I wouldn't really think sticking to just purely NHS forever is for me either.
Backlogs across the country made worse by the closure of some Bupa dental care practices, like this one in Stockton. A shortage of dentists available to treat NHS patients is the reason given. Target-driven contracts often blamed.
You will put an advert out for dentists and dental nurses, and it's just impossible to get anybody to come and work on the NHS at the moment. I work at the dental hospital teaching final years, and to a T, none of the young dentists want to work within the NHS. We're losing the battle. You know, we're on a ship that's sinking. The government are just rearranging the chairs on the Titanic.
The Department of Health said it had made an extra £50 million available to deal with COVID backlogs, and improving NHS access was a priority. Megan Patterson, BBC Look North, Gateshead.
A man has died after being rescued from a house fire. Crews were called to Raleigh Close in South Shields during the early hours of Sunday. A 76-year-old man was taken to hospital where he died. The fire is not thought to have been suspicious, and a file is being prepared for the coroner. Major disruption is continuing across the Tyne and Wear Metro after a large stretch of overhead cable was damaged early this morning. There's no service in both directions between Monument and Jarrow and Monument and Brockley Winds. Operator Nexus says services will be off for the rest of today and well into tomorrow, and it could take a number of days to repair. An investigation continues. Replacement buses are running in affected areas. Divers have entered a nuclear fuel storage pond at Sellafield in West Cumbria for the first time in 65 years. It was built in the 1940s for use by Windscale Piles, the site's first nuclear reactors. It went out of use in the 1960s, and the divers are working in shifts to clear sludge as part of the wider Sellafield decommissioning programme. A North Yorkshire village is trying to curb light pollution by making sure all its outside lighting is dark skies friendly. Hornby is working with the North York Moors National Park to try to become what's thought to be the first entirely dark skies friendly village in the UK. The National Park joined the Yorkshire Dales in becoming official dark skies reserves in 2020, joining other previously designated areas like Northumberland.
One of the things that people don't really appreciate is that light is a pollutant, and like any pollutant, light knows no boundaries. So you need to protect the landscape both within the national park and outside the national park. And the other thing about light pollution compared with other pollutants like plastics in rivers, like pollutants in the air, is that you can solve it at the flick of a switch and it saves you money.
A Newcastle basketball player is aiming to become the first British passport holder to be drafted to the NBA for 13 years. Tosan Iwoman, a former Royal Grammar School student, was the breakout star of an American college basketball tournament this month with his side, Princeton Tigers. He's declared for the NBA draft and says he's ready for the next step in his career. Now, they've already performed in Newcastle, and tonight a rock band from Ukraine will play their second gig in Middlesbrough. The band, called Love and Joy, is hoping to raise greater awareness of what's happening in Ukraine. They've already raised tens of thousands of pounds to support their country's war effort. And a brand new single, recorded on Teesside, is about to go on sale. Phil Connell's been to meet them.
Since Russia's invasion, support for Ukraine has come in lots of different ways, with these musicians doing their bit by making music. The lead singer and drummer of the band's Love and Joy are from Ukraine, and this week they've been at the Press on Vinyl studios in Middlesbrough, recording and pressing a brand new single, with proceeds from its sale buying essential equipment for those fighting on the front line.
At the beginning we were buying stuff like first aid kits, like collecting money for helmets and other protective equipment. And right now, when the fundraiser got a bit bigger, we can collect for like rescue cars. I think it really makes a big difference because this car can save a bunch of people.
The single, called Half Home, is now being produced on vinyl. An album has already been cut, with the team behind its production here in Middlesbrough happy to lend a helping hand.
Everybody down the plant is a passionate humanitarian. They don't like to see people suffering in any way, shape or form, and this kind of thing is just, obviously, it's mind-blowing on the scale of it, and yeah, the stories and what they've been through to get here, it's quite, yeah, it's something that we will probably never see in our lifetimes.
Under current laws, men in Ukraine have to enrol in the army. These musicians, though, have been given special dispensation. Their music seen as an alternative but effective weapon in Ukraine's ongoing war. Phil Connell, BBC Look North, Middlesbrough.
Good stuff. Right, time for a look at the weather now with Paul. And Paul, have you got any good news for us? It's been a bit grim the past couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, it was dismal at first this morning, wasn't it? But I have got something a little bit brighter. It said things improving this afternoon. Most places turning drier and brighter. Feeling quite warm as well. I say mostly dry and bright because there is the risk of the odd shower, but they should be few and far between. Catch one, it could be a heavy one, but as you can see, there are big gaps in between, and the cloud much more broken than it was earlier on. And most places dry, bright and warm, 15, maybe 16 Celsius this afternoon. That's into the low 60s Fahrenheit. It's mostly dry as we head into this evening. Some early clear spells tonight, but the breeze swings around to a southeasterly direction and starts to push up more cloud from the south with a few spots of rain. Further north, it will stay clearer overnight. That's where we'll see the lowest temperatures, maybe down to 3 or 4 Celsius in Northumberland. Into tomorrow, and we've got an east to northeasterly breeze. It will feed in a lot of cloud. Any early brightness in the east will fade. Fairly cloudy skies then through the rest of the day with the odd spot of rain. Further west, you get a bit of shelter from the Pennines in that wind direction, so some decent bright spells for Cumbria, those that in turn lifting the temperatures to 13 or 14 Celsius and triggering 1 or 2 sharp showers. So sunny spells, scattered showers for Cumbria, grey skies further east, and generally a bit cooler in eastern areas. Temperatures along that coast in single figures. And as we head through the next few days, well, low pressure starts to pull away. Some slow-moving weather fronts lingering into the first half of the weekend. Then we get into this little ridge of high pressure between weather systems and things pick up for Sunday. So Saturday, still a lot of cloud around, still some patchy rain here and there, and remaining cooler as well in that northeasterly breeze. Staying cool for Sunday, but much drier and brighter, more broken cloud, some sunny spells for most, temperatures just about into double figures. Alison.
Thanks, Paul. Mostly dry, seem to be the key there.
Mostly.
Right, that's it from us this lunchtime. Me and Paul will be back with Look North at 6:30. Hope you can join us then. Have a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye.